Hey, what's up friends? It's Aubree, and in this What's for Dinner video, I'm sharing 6 family-friendly meals I made for my family. My son started 4th grade this week, so I made his favorite meal to celebrate. I also experimented with 3 new casseroles and had some easy family favorites to end the week out. I'd love it if you stuck around to see what I made. Now let's get into it. This is Sunday night and I am making chicken tetrazzini. I don't know what happened to the clip of me putting the chicken in the crock pot, but I must have lost it somehow, it's not a big deal. So I put 3 chicken breasts in a crock pot and I set it on high for about 3 hours, and I seasoned it with some Kinder's salt and pepper garlic powder seasoning, and then I shredded it up. So now what you see me doing here is I am adding some cream of mushroom soup, cream of chicken soup, some sour cream, some cottage cheese, and then you'll see me add some cream cheese and chicken stock or chicken broth. I am going to leave the recipe for this meal and for a few of the other meals I'm making this week in the description box down below if you want to check it out for the measurements and everything. They are not my recipe, so I don't want to, give that out. But please go check it out. These were all very good. Okay, so once I have added everything in, I am going to mix it all together, and then I will add the shredded chicken. It was about, I think I added about 2 cups or 2.5 cups of shredded chicken to this. While I'm mixing all of this up, I have some spaghetti noodles in a pot on the stove to boil, and you're just going to boil those up like normal, and just like on the edge of where you'd want your noodles to be, because you are going to bake it in the oven. You don't want it to be overcooked, so you still want a little bit of a bite to the spaghetti noodle. Right here you see me adding a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and some garlic powder just to season up the mixture. Now the chicken was already seasoned, so that's why I didn't put too much seasoning in the mixture. Once my noodles have finished cooking and I've drained them, I just add it to the bowl. I made sure to have a pretty big bowl for this step on purpose because I knew there was going to be a lot to mix around. So I'm just using my tongs to mix the mixture in with the spaghetti noodles, and when it's mixed up to my liking, I put it into a baking dish that I've sprayed with cooking spray. You're going to add some Parmesan cheese. I just sprinkle a little bit on top, and then I add some mozzarella cheese on top of that. This is so good, and I really think that the cottage cheese in it helps make it even cheesier and creamier, and just makes this whole meal pop. I've never made chicken tetrazzini before, but I have seen it several times on Pinterest, and I thought it looked so good. So anyway, I will definitely be making this again. My family really enjoyed it. And so I'm just taking a piece of foil and spraying it with some olive oil spray just so the cheese doesn't stick to the lid or doesn't stick to the foil, and then the cheese comes off and then you're like, wait, where's all my cheese? Wouldn't that be awful? I've done that so many times. I paired the chicken tetrazzini with crescent rolls and green beans. It was a great Sunday night meal. Tonight I am making a chicken pot pie bubble up. So I'm heating up some frozen mixed veggies in a pot and then boiling some water to make the chicken gravy. Now a bubble up is when you take canned biscuits and you cut them up into like quarters and you spread them out on the bottom of a baking dish, and then you pour the topping on top and then you bake it. So like the biscuits will bake and, you know, bubble up, and it'll be kind of like the crust of your dish. I am making the chicken gravy. I use the Pioneer chicken gravy kind, and once that is done, I'm just going to set it off to the side until I'm ready. Then I am going to add the shredded chicken that I had left over from the night before. I heated this up in the microwave for about a minute before adding it to the pot, and then I'm just gonna mix that up. Now what I didn't get on camera, because I don't know where the footage is I'm going to pour the chicken and the veggies over the biscuits, and then I'm going to pour the gravy on top of that. I ended up making another package of gravy because it just didn't seem like enough, so I poured that on top, about 1 more cup of gravy onto the chicken gravy mixture, and I just spread it out evenly, and then I baked it. When I pulled it out, I added some shredded cheese and baked it for a little bit longer, and that was it. I did think the gravy was a little bit salty, but that's to be expected with a gravy mix. But overall, this was a very good dish, a 1-dish meal that, you know, it encompassed everything, which was really nice. My husband and my son loved it. I also loved it. Very easy and delicious. So this was the first day of school, and it was a long, crazy day. So I didn't get clips of everything I made, but I made some macaroni and cheese. I just boiled up some noodles, cut up some Velveeta, and added a little bit of milk, white pepper, black pepper, and some red pepper flakes, and stirred it all together. I did not add salt because the cheese is salty enough. Here you see me boiling up some potatoes, and then you see corn warming up on the back burner. I'm going to drain my potatoes, put them back in the pot, add about a half a stick of butter. Those were 3 potatoes that I had peeled and cut up. So I add half a stick of butter, and then I add a little splash of milk. I'm just gonna take my potato masher and mash the potatoes. If I want them super creamy, I use the mixer, but I was rushing and I was just trying to get dinner on the table before it was way too late. This is our plate, so this is just a better view of what we did have. My son's favorite meal is the Stouffer's meatloaf. So I just followed the directions on the back of the box, put that in the oven, and cooked that. And then while that was in the oven, I made the mashed potatoes, the macaroni and cheese, and corn. I also baked up some biscuits on the side. The gravy came with the meatloaf from the Stouffer's box. Connor had a great first day of 4th grade, which I'm very happy about, and he loved his dinner. So that's all that mattered to me. On this night, we are having something called Hamburger Casserole. I have never seen this made, but I saw it on Pinterest and I decided to give it a try. Instead of using tomato sauce, you use tomato soup. So it definitely gives it a different flavor, and I'm gonna let you see what it looks like at the end to tell you what I think. So right now, I am shredding up some cheddar cheese because that's something that's gonna need to go on top. I like to buy the block cheese and shred it out myself. I just think it tastes better. So I'm boiling a pot of water, and I added in a box of elbow noodles. Now, I didn't measure out the noodles. I was assuming that it was about half a box. This was a 32-ounce box of noodles, and I tried to cook half in the macaroni and cheese the day before, and so now I am cooking the rest of the half. But I think it was more than 16 ounces. I think this was more like closer to 20 ounces. So I think that made a difference in the casserole a little bit. I am browning up some ground beef. I'm just adding some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. That is what I usually use when I season my meat for anything that I'm making. And I'm just using my meat masher tool. I love this thing. I got this one at the Dollar Tree. I have bought the Pampered Chef one off of Amazon. That one quickly broke. I've bought one off from Walmart. I bought one from the Dollar General, and this one was the cheapest one I bought, only $1, and it has worked the best, held up the best. So whatever. I like the meat masher tool, and I'm glad that this one's working. So I have seen this done by a lot of YouTubers. I never heard of it, but I think it's genius because it cleans up the grease and the juices from the ground meat without having to pour the meat into a strainer, into a bowl, and then have to clean up the bowl later. This is just so much easier. So I drained the macaroni noodles, and then I'm going to add 2 cans of tomato soup to the noodles, and I'm going to mix it up. Then I'm going to add the ground beef to it, mix it up, and put it in a baking dish. Now, this is where I think I added too much noodles. I don't think I had enough sauce. I did, in the directions, it said to add a little bit of water if you want it like more moist. I just honestly think I added too much noodles. So that could be a problem. Not a problem. It was just not as moist as I wanted it to be. So I mixed it all up, and then I put it in the pan and covered it with cheese. Then I sprayed my foil before putting it onto the baking dish, just so the cheese did not stick to the foil, which that is just irritating. So I put it in the oven, and then about 15 minutes before you are finished cooking it, you take the foil off, and then you let the cheese melt a little bit more, get a little brown and tasty and looking, and then you take it back out, and then it's done. My husband loved it. He said it was really good, which is kind of funny because he adds all kinds of like pepper and red pepper flakes and hot sauces to a lot of the things he eats. This was not hot by any imagination. It was very mild and kind of bland, which is good because my son doesn't really care for things that have a lot of spice on it. He liked it. It was a little weird at first, but it tasted pretty good. I liked it. I added some salt and pepper on top just to give it a little bit more flavor. I just would have liked a little bit more flavor. And I think maybe because I added too many noodles that it took away from the sauce, which took away from the flavor. But I could be wrong. My husband really enjoyed it and wants me to make it again. This was Friday night, and we needed something easy because it had been a long week. So we decided to have chili cheese dogs. This is the Wolf brand chili, the mild flavor with no beans. That is the chili that we like to use on our chili cheese dogs. And sorry for this really close-up view, but these are the hot dogs that we are using. I just cooked those up in the air fryer. So easy, maybe like 4 minutes in the air fryer and they were done. I also made some potato wedges in the air fryer before I cooked the hot dogs. And on my plate, I covered it with chili and cheese as well as my hot dog. And that's what we had for dinner. We are having pulled pork tonight with dinner, just like sandwiches, and then we'll save the leftovers, and I'm thinking maybe we'll do like pulled pork nachos with it. So I just took a half of a pork shoulder and put it in the crock pot, and I am going to try some new seasonings this time. So the first seasoning I'm going to add is this wood-fired garlic, this Kinder's wood-fired garlic seasoning. And instead of putting salt and pepper on it, I'm going to use this Kinder's the blend because it's just salt, pepper, and garlic. So that's just easier. So I'm just going to add those seasonings and put the lid on and put it on low for, I don't know how many hours, probably like 10 hours. And then it'll just shred up so beautifully. And I will show you guys what it looks like when it's done. I like this seasoning because it gives the meat, just has this really like barbecue-y, like on the grill type of smell. So I'm hoping that that's what it makes meat taste like. I'm going to massage the seasonings into the meat and I'll let you guys see what it looks like afterwards. Okay, so that's what it looks like once I massaged the seasoning into the meat. You can see it is on low. All right, I will check back in with you guys a lot later today. It has been about 10 hours of the meat cooking on low. So this is how it looks. I'm taking the lid off and it looks so good. It came apart so easily. I mean, look how easy that just came apart. I just wanted to show you how like moist and, you know, tender the meat ends up, and it's so easy. And this tastes way better homemade than if you buy like the kind that you just microwave like I made last week. I guess I like things that are homemade. Nothing wrong with, you know, buying simple meals because they are definitely helpful throughout the week, but this, you know, I think this just tastes way better. And look how easy it's just shredding up. I'm just like pinching it together with the tongs and it's just, you know, coming apart. And this is what it looked like when I had shredded all the meat up. Had a lot of meat and, you know, just so much. We had more than half left over for leftovers. Like I said earlier, I think we're going to do maybe some like pulled pork nachos or maybe some enchiladas or something. We're not sure yet. And I did not add any barbecue sauce to mine. I didn't have any barbecue sauce in the house that I liked, so I just ate my sandwich plain and I made some tater tots in the air fryer to have on the side. This was a really simple meal. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to my YouTube family. I would love to have you here. Please say hi in the comments. I would love to say hi back. All right, I will see you guys next week for a grocery haul and another What's for Dinner. Have a great week, guys. Bye.